Hey guys, Ranger here, and welcome back to another reaction interview, and this is to the 14th episode of MLP, which is, of Season 9, which is The Last Laugh. I don't know what happens in this episode, but judging by the title, I'm assuming it could be Pinkie Pie. So let's get the video started. Let's dive in. Start video in 3, 2, 1, click.
I thought Pinkie Pie said to get here right away!
She sure had a burr in her britches about something.
So, where is she? Yeah, what is taking her so long? Just kidding. You guys really need to look behind you once in a while. Pinkie, you said you had something important to tell us? Not telling, so much as showing. In fact, what you're about to see may shake the very foundations of your perception for all time!
Really? A cupcake?
A cupcake?
A crystal cupcake.
Yes. But wait, there's more! It's an invitation to visit the Cheese Sandwich Amusement Factory!
Cheese
Sandwich opened a factory?
What do they make there? Rubber chickens?
That's ridiculous! They make way more there than just rubber chickens! Gosh, Cheese hardly seems the factory type. I just assumed he'd continue to wander Equestria throwing parties. Still, you must be excited to see him. I am! I can't wait to tour his factory, catch up, have him tell me my life's purpose, swap gag tips.
Whoa, what did you say?
Catch up? I mean, it has been a while. I think Applejack's asking about the part about Cheese Sandwich and your life's purpose. Oh, that? Yeah. It's just, all of you have found your thing. You're gonna rule all of Equestria, Rainbow Dash has a Wonder Bolt, Fluttershy has her Animal Sanctuary, Rarity has her boutiques, Applejack has that hat, and the farm, so that's like 2 things. I don't even have one.
Pinkie, you're the party planner of
Equestria.
Equestria.
Invite, I was a little jealous. It felt like even he was moving on to bigger and better things.
Oh,
Every
right.
pony was leaving me behind. But then I realized Cheese Sandwich is a party pony just like me. If he figured out his purpose, he can help me figure out mine. I think talking to Cheese Sandwich is a great idea. But the only pony who can really find your life's purpose is you. I know, silly. That's why I'm going to visit Cheese Sandwich's factory, so I can ask him to help me.
Pinkie, are you sure this is edible?
I am not.
Okay. Already, I love this episode. For more than one reason. Number one, I relate to this episode in more than one way, because I seriously doubt there was that connection, but I kind of see the fandom here. Like, all of the rest of the main 6 kind of represents different areas of the Brony community, different people within different areas that are kind of moving on, doing different things once the show ends, and here's Pinkie, which represents us.
Yep, any pony with a smile like that is exactly the kind of pony I want helping me.
This is going to be adorable, isn't it? What? Wait a minute!
Pardon me, just gonna squeeze by.
Is this a reference to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
You sure can.
Or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Sandwich.
Cheese Sandwich doesn't see any pony.
This factory is shut tight. No pony ever comes out and no pony ever goes in, including you.
This is a reference to Willy Wonka, isn't it?
Oh, that's a shame. To think I came all this way because of this personal invitation from Cheese Sandwich himself.
You have an invitation?
Well, why didn't you say so?
And that's the golden ticket.
Next time, I get to push a button.
Ooh, desolate-y. Hello?
This is so reference to Willy Wonka, isn't it? If he's...
Cheese! I'm so happy to see you.
This should have gotten a big laugh. I wonder if we need to add more carpet rolls. I suppose it could be the mask.
Cute.
Let's try taking the nostril flare down 10%. Thoughts?
I have a thought. Who are you?
So sorry. Sans Smirk, Vice President of Amusement Integration. Mr. Sandwich is very excited you're here. If you'll just follow me, it's a short trip through the factory to Cheese's office.
Wow! A whole factory dedicated to gags! Ooh, I bet this is the funnest place ever!
Nope, it's not.
Huh. Maybe the fun is behind all this boring-looking factory stuff.
The
This
fun
is a very
is
cute
the
episode.
factory stuff. We take a fairly serious approach to comedy here. Observe.
Really?
Oh, look, a pretty flower.
The squirting flower is a classic. Oh, what if the flower was part of a shirt, but the flower didn't squirt? The shirt did!
That is literally the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, come on. That's just off the top of my head. You probably get like 17,000 ideas like that from cheese every minute.
We'd have to use a series of interconnected tubes in the fabric. What do you think of this?
I think it's a whoopee cushion.
Yes?
But what if you made the embarrassing sound come from some pony else?
I sit on it, but the sound comes from you. We could call it the ventriloquy cushion.
Wow.
So, which way is Cheese's office again?
Right, of course.
He's gonna
been
be
quite
bored
a
out of
while
his
since
skull,
we've had
isn't
the
he?
opportunity to work with true comic inspiration like this.
What about cheese?
Oh, one more thing.
Oh,
Our
boy.
super slip banana peel. Still in development, but we think it's pretty special.
Put it behind the go-kart and you're good.
So, too slippery?
Oh, what if instead of slipping,
Nope.
you were sticking? One step on this banana peel and you can't get it off. That's funny.
Wow. Just wow. You're exactly the pony Cheese Sandwich needs to see.
Great,
Okay.
because he's exactly the pony I need to see.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Hello?
Pinky, I'm glad you came.
Of course I
Oh,
did.
boy.
Your factory is big. It really seems like you found your purpose, which is perfect since
Oh,
I
crap.
came here for help.
That is perfect. I knew I could count on you to help me.
Well, that's triple perfect because... Oh, wait. Why do you need my help?
Because, Pinky, I've completely lost my laugh.
Oh boy. Who better to help you get it back than Pinky?
Is that some kind of joke? Because it's not a funny one.
It's not a joke.
Although he does
even
look
if it
good in that
was,
turtleneck.
I wouldn't be able to laugh at it.
Right. Why don't we continue this discussion over some delicious canned peanut brittle?
That's actual peanut butter. Never mind.
Wow, you did lose your laugh. That's horrible.
Sorry to interrupt, but it occurs to me that a 7% tighter wind on the snake springs would yield a 12% increase in giggle output.
This is why we're a team. Sans here has always been able to eke every last laugh out of my gags. Which is a help since I haven't come up with any good ones in a while.
Wait, so you
Oh,
can
the
tell
last
if the gag
laugh.
is funny or not, you just can't laugh at it?
Yes! And it's torture!
How did this happen?
I don't know. Back when I was a party pony, I laughed at everything. I spread my party cheer wherever it was needed.
You suffered some sort
I
of
even started
emotional
making
trauma.
individual, one-of-a-kind novelty gags for each and every one of my parties.
It's a struggle bat from Kingdom Hearts 2.
Soon it seemed like every pony in Equestria wanted one. It was more work than my hooves could handle, but I didn't want to disappoint all those smiling faces. Luckily, Sans Smirk came to me
I'm
with the
thinking
idea
this
for a factory.
right now. I'm
gag
thinking of
factory.
Santa Claus. You know,
I could finally keep up with demand and
I think
make
it's the
every
Rankin
pony
Bass.
Soon
Santa
we
Claus
were
is coming to
sending
town. The
gags all
origins.
over Equestria. But then, one day, my laugh was just gone. I haven't left the factory since. I don't want any pony to see me like this. I mean, look at me. Boneless 2 doesn't even recognize me anymore. So, can you help me, Pinky? What do you think?
I think I've got 2 words for you. Knock.
Let's F.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo-hoo.
Don't cry because I'm gonna get you your laugh back. Let's start with
Sorry, I had to do it.
small. Excuse me, Mr. Smirk, but is there something in my eye?
Top-notch eye googling, Miss Pie.
Why, thanks, Sandal pal. Put it there. Oh, sorry about that. Let me make it up to you. How about some pie?
Googly eye to hoof buzzer to pie face pratfall. Mwah. Masterful.
Come on! Those classic bits put Rainbow Dash's funny bone in a cast for a week.
Don't blame yourself, Pinky. Whatever I got it bad.
Maybe we need to start even smaller. You can't run before you can walk. And you can't laugh before you can smile. And your smiler's all out of whack. Now, let's see what we're working with. Give me your biggest, bestest smile.
Am I doing it? Am I smiling? I feel like I'm smiling.
You look like you have constipation.
Almost. Maybe I just need to spot you for a rep or 2. Okay, you got this. It's all you. Ready?
Anything?
I'm curious as to how
I'm
how
not
fan
giving
art
up
will
on
take
you
care
yet,
of that.
Cheese. I know there's something somewhere that'll make you laugh. I just have to figure out where to look.
I would like to take this opportunity to point out that we are in a gag factory. This is where the magic happens. Research and development. It's where we figure out the science of funny.
How do you science funny?
Of course, there's no one-size-fits-all joke, no grand unified gag theory. But if we figure out the funny of one gag, we can combine it with the funny of another gag and make a third, funnier gag.
I guess that makes sense. Rule of 3s.
I can
1,
see it,
2,
but
3. Yep, that math checks out. At this point, I'm willing to give anything a try.
the thing is, there's not. It was song. Okay, no song, just a music montage. Okay. I'm also thinking of the Rainbow Factory right now.
I don't understand. I've tried everything. Stand-up, classic gag, physical humor, prop comedy, vaudeville, surrealist, alt-teen character pieces. Nothing's worked!
It seems we've exhausted every avenue that even the science of comedy can provide.
That's it then.
What do you mean?
I appreciate everything you've done, Pinky, but if you can't make me laugh, no pony can.
But, sir, you can't just surrender.
It doesn't look like I have a choice. I need to figure out how to live without a laugh. I know you tried your best, but it's time you went home.
I, too, am horrified.
Yeah, you're really showing it there, pal.
That's it? You're all just giving up?
I'm afraid Mr. Sandwich is right. You are the funniest pony in Equestria. And if you can't bring back his laugh, it is surely gone forever.
But Cheese was just as funny as me. I can't believe that's all gone.
None of us can. I shudder to think what will become of the factory.
You're not gonna close down, are you? I thought this place was Cheese's life's purpose.
It certainly was mine. But if Mr. Sandwich has finally given up, there's only so long we can retool his old ideas before we run out of gags to produce. I don't suppose you'd consider working here. Your fresh take on our classic gags rivals Mr. Sandwich in his prime.
I need to to find my life's purpose, but I don't think that's it. I'm a party pony. I need to make ponies happy in real time.
Ah, yes. In our early days, nothing brought Mr. Sandwich more pleasure than seeing the laughter his gags brought to Pony's first hoof.
Guess it's back to the drawing board.
Well, there will always be a place for you here if you change your mind.
Hold on. What did you just say?
There'll always be a place for you here.
No. Before that.
Back to the drawing board.
That was me!
Nothing brought Mr. Sandwich more pleasure than seeing the laughter his gags brought to Pony's first hoof.
Yes, that! We've been going about this all wrong. We don't need to make Cheese laugh.
We need-
He needs to make us laugh.
Oh, okay.
Cheese! I figured it out. I know why you can't laugh.
What? Why?
You started this factory because you didn't want to disappoint smiling faces. But in here, you can't see any.
It does make a certain sense, sir. Spreading laughter has always brought you joy.
But spreading laughter is what this factory does.
Except you don't see it. You're a party pony like me. You need to make ponies smile in person. Here, just try it.
Okay. Why did Boneless 2 cross the road? To prove to Boneless 1 he wasn't a chicken.
Very funny, sir. Excellent joke. Oh, I mean, ha.
Really?
Sorry, not much of a laugher.
Try
Here,
someone else.
try me. I promise I'll laugh.
Pinky, you laugh at everything. I appreciate what you're doing, but I think it's a cost loss. A lost cause. What was that?
I'm sorry, but when you swapped the letters of those words, it was just a bit...
Funny?
Uh-huh.
So you're saying it's a mix-up
A song!
of the sounds that I just made that coaxed the snicker from your throat in a delicate cascade? If I did it one more time, if I reproduced that feat, mixed up some letters here and there, you'd lily-bath too sweet. Then that's all I need to do, that's who I need to be. I thought I needed laughter, but it has to come from me.
Yeah!
Squirting flowers and knobby knees, rubber chicken's my expertise. If you want laughter, then stick with cheese. I suppose now I should amp things up to get the thing I'm after. Move whole syllables around and change them fastest to get laughter. Hands up, now I'm on a roll, I've almost got it back. Bright folks like you aren't subject to my play on words attack. With something else I'll have to play to get me where I'm going.
What you gonna do?
Some to get the laughter flowing. And it's what I need to do. It's who I need to be. I thought I needed laughter, but it has to come from
I ship it!
Follow right behind if you please. Walk this way and I guarantee. If you want laughter, then stick with cheese. Accordion solo!
Shredded cheese.
What? And it's what I need to do. It's who I need to be. I thought I needed laughter, but it has to come from me. Whoopee cushions and dungarees. I know jokes like my ABCs. If you want laughter, then stick with cheese. And now my biggest test, the hardest fish to fry.
Ooh, this is good.
Analytical, a sense of humor dry. To make you
This is
laugh
my favorite part of the song.
that this experiment's done. Something ridiculous and not too
Yep, my favorite part of the song.
like a pun. Hey, Sans, how did the laughing bird's eggs hatch? They cracked up!
Sir, that is so ridiculous.
You're laughing! You actually laugh! Oh my gosh! I didn't know you had it in you.
Then that's all I need to do. That's
Yes!
all I need to see.
I ship
thought
it!
needed laughter, but it had to come from me. Squirting flowers and knobby knees, rubber chickens and dungarees. If you want laughter, then stick with cheese.
It's so good to have you back, sir. Finally, we can get the factory back to how things used to be.
Sans, my good pony, I don't think I can run this factory anymore. But you can!
Without you? I don't understand.
Pinky was right. This is what I need! I just can't have funny ideas. I need to wander the land and see ponies laughing at them. You can run the factory, but I need to live! And don't think I've forgotten about you, little buddy.
Boneless too.
I knew you'd be on board.
Ah.
Don't worry. Out in Equestria, I'll have more great ideas for gags, and I'll send them all to you!
Sir, are you sure this is what you want to do?
Of course! It's my life's purpose!
Hey! That's what I came here looking for!
You did? Well, come on! Let's figure it out!
Wait, traveling with...
Actually, I think I'm good. And then I said goodbye, and then I came here. Oh, and then I gathered you all together and started telling you about it. First, I said that... Well, that sounds like quite a trip. And Cheese Sandwich just left his own factory? Yep, but I think Salt Smirk's hooves were the perfect ones to leave it in. As much as Cheese was born to wander Equestria and make ponies laugh in person, Sans was born to run that factory.
And you don't sound so worried about finding your life's purpose anymore.
Nope! I figured out Cheese and I are pretty much the same. We both need to see ponies laughing to feel fulfilled. And I already do that. My life is purposing itself all over the place.
I agree completely.
Thanks. Oh, I almost forgot. I got you all a little something from my trip. Who likes peanut brittle?
Okay. Yeah, I really love this episode. I really love this episode. And this is a really interesting episode. In more ways than one. For me personally, I saw a connection between the fandom and what was kind of going on in the show. At least that was me personally. I seriously don't think, pardon me, I seriously doubt that they, then again they may have, intended for this episode to have some similarities between the Brony community, the show, and, the fandom and the show. I don't know if they directly intended that, but like I said, I sort of felt a similarity in that each of the main six had kind of, they started, or rather progressed, with important roles in their lives. Things that they had, either goals, desires that they had pursued, or an opportunity that was just presented to them. And every single one of them had something that had a goal, had a purpose that they were doing, had a task that they were tending to. Pinky, however, felt that she kind of felt like she was being left behind. And to be honest, I can honestly really relate to Pinky here. And I'm sure others can too, as sometimes it feels like, you know, you look around at other people in the Brony community kind of moving on, and it's easy sometimes to feel the exact same way as Pinky early in this episode, like you're getting left behind. You know, you're not really sure what to do, where to go, how to proceed. But with the Brony community, we're still doing our own thing, and we're still going to do our own thing even whenever the show is over. But Pinky, I also saw a similarity in terms of real life, because I know that scenario has happened before for other people. Friends and family around them have, you know, acquired or achieved different roles, jobs, or opportunities that they were going to pursue, and yet someone felt left behind, that they were kind of dragging along in life, that they weren't really getting anywhere, and they weren't really sure where to go. They felt left behind. And so they wanted to sort of go on a bit of a life quest, if you will, a life journey to try to discover themselves and try to figure out where they wanted to go, what they wanted to do. And here, Pinky wanted to do that. So she ended up, she got an invite to communicate with, she got an invite to talk to Cheese Sandwich. And she wanted to talk to him because he had opened the factory, and so she thought that maybe since he was a party pony like her, he could actually help her to figure out what she wanted to do, maybe give her some advice. As it turns out, however, Cheese was, like I said, I saw a very similar setup with this whole thing to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka. And Pinky, okay, Cheese had ended up locking himself away in the factory, and as a result, he ended up not being able to see other ponies laugh at the jokes, laugh at the gags that he came up with, that he helped to create. And so he wasn't able to see them be happy. He wasn't able to see them laugh and smile. And it felt like, I mean, he, as a result of not being exposed to that, he began to lose his laughter. He began to feel drained. He wasn't himself. And honestly, there's also a similarity. I can also kind of relate to Cheese on this, because this is kind of something like that. You have something that you love, you have a passion that you enjoy, and if you're not able to do that for a while, or if you're not able to act on that or experience that for a while, you begin to get depressed. If I don't get to write, or I don't get to do any YouTube videos in a while, I began to get depressed and angry because I feel like I'm losing myself, I'm sliding back, I'm letting people down, I'm betraying myself, who I want to be, what I want to do, and so I can honestly relate to Cheese here. And I'm sure other people have as well, with different things that you may enjoy doing. It could be building model kits, it could be painting, it could be music. If you're suddenly find yourself in a situation where you're not able to do that as much as you want, you begin to feel depressed, because something like that makes you happy, it helps to recharge your batteries, it helps to keep you sane. And so Cheese was not able to be around that. And so it began to alter him, and he became depressed. And so he asked Pinky, the one person whom he thought could help him, to try to get his laugh back. And honestly, Pinky was a great representative for this, and a great person to be able to help. This other guy, whose name escapes me, figured out that the one thing that Cheese needed to do was experience that. And Pinky also realized that Cheese needed to be out there experiencing the laughter, seeing the smiles on ponies' faces. And with that, he discovered that that's what he wanted to do. So he went back to being a traveling person, a traveling pony here, and he put this other guy in charge of running the factory, because the other guy really enjoyed it and had more of a knack for it. So, it's a very interesting thing how that all worked out. But honestly, one gimmick that I thought they were going to go with was whenever this other guy offered Pinky the chance to work at the factory. I honestly thought that she was going to accept that position because she wondered what she was going to do in life, and I honestly thought, wait a minute, is this over for Cheese? Like, is he not going to laugh anymore, and now Pinky is going to replace him? But then I thought, no, that's kind of too dark. I really don't see them doing that. And I thought, what if Pinky starts working at the factory, helping to create these gags? But as it turns out, Pinky realized that her purpose was something that she had all along, and that was making ponies laugh, making them smile. Making them laugh and making them smile was her thing. And she already gets to do that. Like Cheese, she gets to experience it and see other ponies laugh. And that's what makes her happy, is being able to see that, and that's her purpose. That's what she is supposed to do. She boosts morale, she makes ponies happy, she lifts their spirits. And I would say, yeah, that's very, very important, because a lot of ponies rely on her. She's not just a party planning pony of Ponyville, try saying that 3 times fast, but she's also a very crucial character for a lot of ponies in terms of mentality, psychology, overall emotion. She helps to make ponies laugh, makes them smile, like I said, boosts morale. She is there to cheer her friends on. She's the upbeat, the uplifting one that others turn to in a dark situation for something uplifting. And so Pinkie is someone, she's like she's a streak of sunshine through a dark cloud on a dark day. That's what Pinkie is. And she's there for her friends, and she's there to do what she can to make ponies laugh and smile. That's her goal. That's her life. That's what she loves doing. And it's a very interesting thing for that. And I'm very happy that, Pinkie's... You look at all the other characters. Rainbow Dash has a career position. She's a Wonderbolt. Twilight has a sort of, not political. She has a regal position. She's supposed to rule over Equestria. Fluttershy has her animal sanctuary. Rarity has her boutique. And Applejack has the farm. So, yeah, all of these are kind of very big responsibilities. Pinkie's is kind of a bit more simplified. It's not a job, it's not a career, but it is a goal, something that she works for, or works toward on a daily basis, which is making ponies laugh and smile. And that's what makes her happy. And whenever we look back at the Party of One episode, we also see that Pinkie also relies pretty heavily on the love of her friends, and that's also something that drives her. It's not just making others smile and laugh, but it's also the love of her friends that makes her. And I think it's sort of I could look at it in a psychological aspect and say that it seems to be a bit of a looping thing that is constantly ongoing. Pinkie loves to make others smile and laugh. Her friends love her the way that she is. Her friends love her. And Pinkie, because of that love, because of that happiness that her friends give her, it makes her happy, and so she's able to give back, and so forth, and so it's just a kind of a looping thing. But Pinkie is, honestly, Pinkie relies definitely heavily on her friends, on her friends also, because her friends are extremely important to her. And we've seen what can happen if she thinks her friends don't care. She has a complete mental breakdown and sinks into a very deep depression. But Pinkie is very uplifting. She's very upbeat. And I would honestly say that's partially because she has her friends. She loves her friends, and that's because she is the way that she is because she has her friends. And I think many of us, honestly, we can relate to Pinkie on that because, I really see a connection with that as well. After, I know the feeling, my best friend, I can honestly say that my best friend is very, very important to me. And them being a part of my life makes me happy. I can also relate similarly to BronyCon, being at BronyCon 2019 and just seeing the people there, interacting with all the people that I got to interact with, being able to hang out with the people that I did, and feel like you belong. You felt like you had a place where you belonged, that you fit in. And if any of us, if I know for a fact, if I were to leave that, or be tossed out of that, I would feel exactly like Pinkie. I would be depressed. I would be hurt. I would feel like, what am I going to do? But I can honestly relate to that because, being around the people at BronyCon, it made me happy. And so I can really relate to Pinkie. And I also love this episode because it's a great episode that highlights the interaction between Cheese and Pinkie. And It's subtle enough. It's done in a very balanced manner. There's not enough so that you can say that there is any sort of romantic interest between them, that they're just, really great friends, or if you wanted to imagine that there's more going on between them, you totally could. It's done in a way that it doesn't explicitly say that they are just friends or that there is a spark or more between them. It's done in a way that it's kind of like with Judy and Nick in Zootopia. It's done in a way that you could imagine. It's done in just a subtle enough way that you can imagine it to be however that you want. And honestly, Cheese and Pinky are really a cute couple. Like, if I were, like, to be completely honest, they are honestly a very cute couple. Like, and like, so this episode was a very, very good episode for highlighting. This was a great Cheese and Pinky episode. This was a fantastic episode. And honestly, one of my favorite scenes of this episode was later whenever Pinky and Cheese were kind of singing together. This was a very great segment. This was a really great segment with Pinky and Cheese singing together. It was honestly phenomenal. It was honestly phenomenal. Like, honestly, the duet between Weird Al and Andrea Libman here was just amazing. I loved it. I have never, honestly, in the history of the show, heard a number like this before. I mean, Weird Al has done a lot of really zany songs before, but the guy can sing. And to hear him belting out these lines here, these very serious lines, these emotional lines as Cheese, was awesome. And then Andrea providing the background with Pinky, it was just amazing. This is definitely one of my favorite songs of this entire season, and definitely probably one of my favorite songs of the whole series, just because of this particular segment here. It's a fun song, and I love this particular duet with the two. It's so great. And again, it's very cute. Like, honestly, it's just adorable. Pinky and Cheese, because, like, Cheese is just so much taller and bigger than Pinky, and so whenever he hugs her, like, she has to jump up, and he's, like, totally holding her off the ground. It's such a cute little thing. I love it. But honestly, I really love this episode. It is a great episode. It's a very sweet episode. It's great to see Cheese Sandwich return. I'd say this was a very great return episode for him, and it was kind of a great send-off episode. It's interesting in how that it played out, because Cheese didn't stay at the factory, and so now he's still going to be a traveling pony. So, it kind of sets it up that you can imagine that, fanfiction writers and artists can imagine that Cheese is still wandering Equestria at this point. And, fanfiction writers will pick up the slack once the show is over with, and, write about Cheese and Pinky's next interactions and what happens between them. I'm really looking forward to being able to hopefully read those as well. But like I said, this was, to me personally, I really love this episode. I think it was a really good return episode for Cheese. It was a very great episode for that, and it was fun to see him return, and it was great to see Pinky kind of be the light of his life in a way, in that she was able to help him. Not just her, but this other guy too. Like, that's the power of friendship. That's the power of friends. They can help lift your spirits and be there for you and remind you of who you are, who you are, who you want to be. And I think this was a very great episode for that. And it was a great send-off for Cheese, so I'm really glad that Weird Al came back. It was great to see him. It was great to see his character. It was great to hear him again. It was honestly really great. And it was also lovely to hear Andrea and Weird Al do that duet together. That was also really great. And I really love this episode. But like I said earlier, I begin to get the impression of this being a reference to Willy Wonka whenever we started seeing the posters displayed. Then I started thinking, wait a minute. And then I saw this scene here, particularly with the factory behind the gate, and I knew immediately, this looks like Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I'm more kind of associated with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, just because I've seen more of the version with Johnny Depp than the original on TV. I never have watched either of the full things, but I've seen them on TV bits and pieces. That's what I said. This particular ticket that Pinky held out, it's golden color. It's like the golden ticket in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And then you have this old factory that just kind of setting off in the distance. And again, this also kind of made me think about a couple of different things. Number one, this made me think of the Rainbow Factory. Second, I do like the atmosphere that they have going here. And third, this also kind of makes me think about Fallout Equestria. Like, this is something Stable Tech would have done. You know, like this is the beginning of Fallout Equestria. That's what also came to mind. It was also, I gotta say, like the little moments with Pinky here whenever she thought this was cheese. Just her interaction, crouching like a cat to a degree. This looks like a nuzzle. And it's so cute that to hug him, she has to stand on her tip hoof. It's very cute. I love it. It's very adorable. And of course, she's happy to see him. She's hugging him. It's very cute. Like, this is very sweet, even though this isn't actually cheese. But again, just she's hugging him, and she's happy to stand on her tip hoof to be able to do so. It's so cute. Like I said, this moment whenever Pinky said, "I've got 2 words for you," and I said, "Let's F." Yeah, I put that in there. That'll definitely put a smile on his face. Because Pinky wants him to fire his party cannon, yo! And like I said, if you remove the audio from this, if you remove the picture and just play the audio during this scene here, that's what I mean. I'm wondering what the fandom will do with this particular scene here. The stretching sound effect and Pinky grunting, you know where I'm going with this! If you don't, you're too young to be watching this, let me tell you that. Now, I also have to admit, like, I can understand the concept of them trying to understand the science behind jokes, but at the same time, you can't really apply completely science to gags and jokes because, or at least I don't think so. I'm expecting someone to prove me wrong in the comments, but like, I personally don't think that you can apply science to laughter, to gags, because realistically, what may be funny to someone isn't funny to someone else. I know that firsthand. I know that 100% because I have had a dozen people comment and tell me that ask me why was I laughing at a particular scene that they didn't find funny, or why did I find that scene funny, or why do I laugh at everything? I've had a dozen people, dozens of people, tell me that, complain, or ask me those questions. Most recently, I had someone ask me, why did I find a scene funny in an MLP YTP? My response was, honestly, I can't explain it. Like, I really can't explain the science or give an explanation as to why. There are just some things that are kind of beyond explanation. I just found it funny. That's the most that I can say. I can't go into detail on it. It tickled my funny bone. I just found it funny. I can't explain why. I don't really know why. That's my sense of humor. And so I can understand them trying to science laughter, but at the same time, it is a lot more complicated than that because laughter is an emotion, and it's difficult to ascertain what may make one person laugh and someone else not. Make different people laugh. Best thing to do is just to try to understand each person individually, try to figure out what tickles their funny bone, how big a sense of humor do they have, and try to work from there to try to figure out how to make them laugh. For me, I have a big sense of humor, and so I can laugh at most anything, but there are things that I don't find funny. And there are things that I don't find funny that other people would. But I can totally understand the concept of laughing at something other people don't find funny, and people thinking that I'm weird because I do. The fact is, you're gonna find something funny that I don't. That doesn't make me weird because I don't find it funny, nor does it make me weird because I find something funny that you don't. That's how laughter works. Different people have different senses of humor. But, like I said, I really did enjoy this episode. It was a very intriguing episode to see Pinky going on a journey to try to discover herself, figure out what her purpose was. And like I said prior, it's interesting that Pinky felt left out. It's relatable, it's understandable, feeling left out, not just in, personal in your life with people around you, maybe doing different things, but it also feels relatable to the fandom as well. With some of us feeling left behind as a result of other people in the fandom either becoming really big or going off and kind of branching out, doing their own thing, and so it can kind of leave you feeling left behind. But Pinky realized that that her purpose she had there all along, which was making Pony smile, making people laugh, and so I can understand that. Sometimes you kind of have to go on a journey to try to discover yourself, to try to clear your mind and try to figure out what you want to do. And sometimes you may discover that what you were looking for, you had there all along. And so I really can relate to Pinky on this, and I totally understand where she's coming from. I can also understand Cheese's perspective as well, being isolated, kind of not being able to have the time or the opportunity to do something, to experience something that you love, a passion that you have, and as a result you begin to feel like you're betraying yourself. You begin to lose sight of yourself, of who you are. And so in this situation, it took the help of friends to help him just realize who he was, what his purpose in life was. So that was a very cool deal, and it was very fun to see that. And who better than Pinky to help with that? But it's also great to see Pinky, be smiling and laughing again, because I don't like seeing Pinky depressed. Except in Party of One, that was fun. But otherwise, okay, and in the Yak episode where she was in Yakistan, depressed. I mean, Pinky, whenever she's in her gray form, yeah, she's cute. I mean, she does look adorable. You just want to hug her and squeeze her. But Pinky, her personality, she smiles, she's laughter, and honestly, I don't like seeing any of the characters depressed. I mean, I don't like seeing anyone depressed in general. I like seeing people smile and laugh. So I really relate to Pinky. That's one of the reasons why I love YouTube. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love YouTube, is because that I love making people smile, making people laugh. And that makes me happy. I also love it because I have a lot of fun with it. I love making people smile, making people laugh. And so I have a lot of fun with it. I have fun reviewing, analyzing, and so yeah, it works both ways. But yeah, this was a very fun episode. So I gotta say, I really want to say to everybody that worked on this episode, and to everybody, to the people that say, hey, let's bring Cheese Sandwich back. You guys rock. Also I gotta say again to the writers for this episode, and to Weird Al and to Andrea for the performance as Cheese and Pinky. Great! That was so much fun. Thank you guys so much for that. That was awesome. And again, thank you to everybody, Hasbro, DHX, everybody that did this episode. Thank you all so much. And thank you again. Thank you guys again for joining. Hope you guys enjoyed. And again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care.